To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey, and behind every page there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
What's up, everybody? I am Lefty, and that is Dan. This is in stores this week. Welcome.
Hello. For a second, I had the urge to shout "Good morning, Vietnam" for some reason. It just popped in my head, but I thought, yeah, that may be a little loud for the audience.
For a minute real early in my working life, I was working in Saskatchewan.
On purpose?
And I always wanted.
On purpose?
It was where I was assigned for the company I was working for, and I always wanted to start my radio broadcast with "Good morning, Saskatchewan," just to piss them off.
Mm-hmm.
I never did, and I still regret it to this day. Because that's not how it's said, but also, "Good morning, Vietnam" jokes are always terrible on the radio.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, good job, good show earlier. I'm glad you broke down the Spider-Man trailer because I also wasn't. I had said I wasn't going to watch the trailer, and that I also wouldn't be watching the film because hashtag not my Spider-Man. However, with the potential that he's not even the Spider-Man that wasn't my Spider-Man, I'm all kinds of intrigued. It's really problematic when you prejudge a movie and then Dan ruins all your assumptions for you.
I didn't ruin it. That was the trailer. I just saw what was there.
Right, but Dan explains to you the stuff you didn't see because you didn't watch the trailer, and now you're angry that you didn't watch the trailer. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so, you shouldn't prejudge movies anyway. You know that's a bad thing.
I always do, especially when they're superhero movies.
Well,
and I'm usually right in my own head.
Yeah. I think the movie for you is going to be the new Stallone movie, Samaritan. It's a superhero movie about an older, retired superhero who's left the world and is now working as a trash man, and somebody recognizes him, and it just goes, completely crazy after that.
Every part of that seems up my alley.
Also,
I read the book Samaritan.
Oh, I didn't know it was
an
adaptation.
Based off the Image book?
I don't know.
Well, we need to find out. I really enjoyed the Image book. It seems like a different premise, but it could be, a slight adaptation.
Yeah, I got the feeling it was an original property. But
okay.
I know they showed the trailer for it at CinemaCon this week.
All right, next year, you and I, CinemaCon.
Oh, yeah.
It's
they showed they showed the entire Ghostbusters movie, Afterlife, last night.
I did. So I know someone who's at CinemaCon. I was going to try to get them to come on your show, but they're not allowed to because of their non-compete clause in their contract. Real bummer.
Yeah.
So we're not here to talk about movies, though. We're here to talk about comics, and we're here to talk about the comics that are in stores this week. That's why the show is called In Stores This Week for now. So
wait, could we have them come on in the shadowy figure with the voice changer?
No. Unfortunately, even then they'd be recognizable.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, they're a pretty well-known commodity. Somebody I know from, again, my old radio days.
Okay.
If you, how do I put this? If you were ever at the Max in the 80s, they were there hanging out with a group of their friends from high school.
The Max.
It's a very niche reference to a very specific television program that this person was on.
The Max wasn't Saved by the Bell, was it?
No, it wasn't. So, all right. Let's start with comics.
Okay.
And let's start with the end of the alphabet, but maybe the oldest character of every character on the comics. Every character that's referenced this week is probably younger than this character.
Were you talking about Zenoscope?
Talking about Zorro.
Zorro. Ah, yes. I picked this one specifically because of the creative team on it. Also, I'm a huge fan of the old pulp characters and these style of characters, and they're ones I would kill to write. And I've had a chance to write some of them, like Green Hornet and the Phantom and the Avenger, but Zorro's one that still has escaped me so far. But this is Don McGregor and Vincenzo Carratù. And normally we see Vincenzo's name with Dynamite, but he's over here with, was this American Mythology, I believe?
Yes, American Mythology Productions.
Right. But this is Don McGregor. This is the guy that brought a lot of what made the Black Panther series great to it. I mean, between Jack Kirby and Don McGregor, you've got the entire Wakanda, all the mythos and stuff like that. And then you add in what priests run on there, and that's everything you need to know about Black Panther. But legendary scribe Don McGregor returns to Zorro for the first time in 15 years. His stories have defined comics for decades, from Black Panther to Saber to the very pages of Zorro. He has delivered groundbreaking tales of adventure, passion, and the human condition. In Flights, Zorro finds himself face to face with a fire-breathing dragon. Okay, right there, it's a guy on a horse with a rapier fighting a dragon. Not even a broadsword.
Z into it at some point.
Yes, but something's not quite right. Which part is not quite right? Already it's a dragon, but for though this huge creature soars into the air and breathes fire, it also seems to be controlled by man. Come with us on a wild ride as we deliver one of the most anticipated Zorro stories of the new century, available with 3 covers. Roy Allen Martinez and variant covers by Vincenzo Carratù, and a limited edition black and white photo cover. I'm not sure who the photo's of. Maybe it's one of from the old Saturday matinee type stuff.
Was it the 60s or 70s that they had the TV show on?
Yeah, but then they used to do Saturday matinees as well.
No, it's the Zorro I recognize from the television show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm loading it right now. It's
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I recognize him too. That's definitely the 60s version.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who all has played Zorro on the screen, and this is the one I most recognize.
Yeah.
I think Antonio Banderas. But also he was Puss in Boots, which I may just be mistaking for being Zorro.
No, Antonio Banderas played him in the movies.
Okay, so he was also Puss in Boots, who was just a cat who thought he was Zorro.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he was opposite Catherine Zeta-Jones and
that's
stuff
right.
like that.
I remember that now.
While you figure that out, I got a quick Don McGregor story. It's my favorite Don McGregor story, and it's short. It's San Diego Con. I want to say it's 1999. This is the year that CrossGen made their debut. They're on the end cap. I'm right behind them with my table. Across from us is Tone Rodriguez and Josh Dysart with Hurricane. Next to them is Don McGregor, set up at his booth. He's got Dean Zachary hanging out with him that weekend. Don is dressed in a burgundy silk shirt, unbuttoned down to almost his navel, gold chains, looking very 70s, 80s hip. And I'm sitting there and I'm signing books and I'm talking to people. And I look across and I see Don get on his chair. Then he gets up on his table and he's standing fully up on the table. And this guy is walking along the aisle and Don leaps off the table in what almost looks like that classic Jim Lee Wolverine pose, arms up in the air, diving over the table. Comes down on the guy in what is somewhere between a hug and an attack. The guy's face is just suddenly ashen and scared. He's not sure what's going on. Don hugs him, goes, "Oh, it's so good to see you. Oh, my God." Don takes a step back, goes, "Oh, my God, I'm sorry. I thought you were someone else."
So let's talk about the Zorro lineage on screen. Are you ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Antonio Banderas,
Yes.
Anthony Hopkins,
Oh, yeah,
Tyrone Power,
Yep.
George Hamilton, Douglas
Zorro the
Fairbanks,
Gameblade. Douglas Fairbanks, yes.
Frank Langella,
Uh-huh.
Henry Darrow, Johnny Young Bosch. Granted, that's a little more modern.
Yeah.
George Turner, Gordon Scott, Franco Fantasia, who is one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
But like Sean Flynn, Guy Stockwell, like so many legends. Jose Suarez, who you only know if you watch old movies. I think that cover is Douglas Fairbanks.
Yeah. I think you're right. But by the way, going back to George Hamilton, Zorro the Gay Blade is one of the funniest movies. I mean, the fact that it's not a Mel Brooks movie is surprising. It fits in that genre that, you know, you could watch Blazing Saddles and Zorro the Gay Blade back to back, and the humor is all similar and stuff. And the whole thing with Zorro and the different colors. You know how many times I've started, you know, somebody starts naming fruits and I'm like, 2 fruits and a vegetable. And I start quoting that movie.
No, I really did love. So if I go over to some other things, Reed Headley also has played Zorro. Elaine Darrow, Duncan Regier, like just some of the greats of all time.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine Frank Langella as Zorro.
Oh, I know.
Because I only know Frank Langella like
Dracula.
No, in my brain, I only know him as an old man.
Oh, yeah.
I've certainly seen him in many, many, many things.
You remember him
when
Dave?
When I think Frank Langella, I think Frank Langella like from Draft Day or from Muppets Most Wanted or Frost
Dave,
Nixon.
Do you remember him in Dave?
Yeah, I've certainly seen Dave, but that's not the Frank Langella I remember.
But there's that moment in Dave where Kevin Kline's character takes over the meeting and starts cutting things to keep this thing he wants on the budget, and it's totally against what Frank Langella wants. And there is this death stare that he gives at that moment that may be one of the chillingest moments you'll ever see on screen in the middle of a comedy.
Right. I think the earliest thing I probably remember him in is Deep Space Nine, that I like remember watching that he was in. But I mean, I've seen him in Men's Club and
I love Draft Day, by the way. That's a great movie.
Yeah, Swiss Family Robinson.
Yeah,
and some of that stuff. I know he was on your favorite show, Mannix.
He was in Mannix, yes.
So, all right, we should probably move on from Zorro.
Yeah. I think we've given Zorro a lot of time. So buy this book.
So let's move on to a Marvel book, a character that, well, it's good to see back.
Yeah. And also, this is a good buddy of mine writing it, Ryan Cady. Ryan is from the Top Cow group. He and I played D&D together for quite some time. He's been knocking the door down at Marvel. He's been doing a lot of great stuff over there. Now, he's doing Winter Guard with Jan Bazaldua.
Yes.
Bazaldua. And Bazaldua. And it says, Winter comes for the I'm going to try this again. Winter comes for the White Widow and the Red Guardian. Russia is cleaning house, and when the Red Guardian starts hunting down state secrets, he puts himself right back in his home country's crosshairs, dragging the White Widow along with him. But the motherland has new heroes now, and not even the Red Room could have prepared Alexei and Yelena for the Winter Guard's retribution. Bold twist and bombastic action as Jason Aaron's Winter's Guard tracks down two of Russia's dirtiest secrets. Don't miss the chills and thrills of Ryan Cady and Jan Bazaldua's new epic thriller. So if you have just seen the Black Widow last month and you still want to pick up on Red Guardian and Yelena Belova, who's being called the White Widow, this is the book for you. It's going to continue those characters. And come on, we all love David Harbour as Red Guardian. So if we're even just a little bit of carrying that forward, but then you get the Winter Guard, of course, is like the old Soviet super soldiers. Ursa Major, Crimson Dynamo, Red Guardian, those guys. So this looks pretty spectacular to me.
Right. I think everyone can agree that those two characters came out strongest out of that movie. They're the ones that most people would like to know more about, and this is an opportunity.
Oh, yeah. I want a 1980s movie with David Harbour as Red Guardian fighting whoever he fought that was in the Captain America costume.
Yes. Although I think I know who it was, but we'll deal with that another time.
Yes.
Moving on from there is a book that solicitation is one word. This is Transformers Shattered Glass #1 from IDW. The solicitation on this book is Blur, which is appropriate because it's a Transformers. It's if you remember Shattered. What was the Power Rangers one? Shattered Empire.
Okay.
This is that. It's IDW is taking the Transformers saga and just ripping it apart and breaking it into pieces and rebuilding it. And Optimus Prime will never be the same again. I don't know any of that to be true. I'm just assuming. Because their solicitation is Blur. But the reason I brought this up is if you are a toy nut and you head over to Hasbro Pulse and you're willing to spend the copious amount of that it's going to cost. They are releasing every one of the 4-issue series packaged with an exclusive Transformers toy.
Really?
That are exclusive to Hasbro Pulse and incredibly limited in their production run. So, just a thought if you're a toy head. I have a friend who's a big Transformers nut who spent, I would call it a month's pay on these things. Huh?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why does it look like he has shell casings embedded in his head?
That thing next to him totally looks like a gun, doesn't it?
It does, but he wouldn't be embedded. He'd be hit with bullets, not shell casings.
You have to read it and find out, Dan. Their solicitation is Blur. But
I know. I saw this one and passed on it because there was nothing to talk about on it.
The only reason I wanted to talk about it was the toys, just because I know how many Transformers fans are also toy collectors, yes. And that's a really interesting way to market a book.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about collecting toys. That would be really weird.
No, not at all. No. Yeah. But two characters that should have crossed over a long time ago are crossing over now in an oversized Black Label book.
That's weird that it's a Black Label. I didn't realize that.
It is a Black Label, and it is magazine size. It's written Tim Seeley and Sarah Beatty. with art by Mirka Andolfo. Superman Lobo, #1. What happens when the indomitable force meets the irritating object? I want to say the indomitable force is Lobo and the irritating object is Superman, but I know that's not what they meant.
Right.
That's what readers will find out when Superman runs into Lobo. Think of it like a Boy Scout joining a biker gang. What will be worse, the damage Lobo causes on his own or the chaos of trying to stop him? I smell a team-up, fanboys. Newman is the most popular being in the universe, a god clogging all the social channels, and he does not like competition. This means Superman and Lobo must go. Further complicating things is Dr. Filk, a scientist determined to study the last sons of Krypton and Zarnia, respectively. What can she glean from the hero who has lost everything and a baby and the bad who lost everything as a baby and the bad boy who made it all go away just for the heck of it? From writers Tim Seeley and Sarah Beatty, the team behind the indie hit Money Shot and Punchline artist Mirka Andolfo, comes a hilarious new superhero epic.
This reminds me a little bit of the DC movie from last year, Superman, Man of Tomorrow, I think it was called, where they have Lobo in it as well. And the Lobo Superman fight was one of the highlights of the entire animated movie.
Anything with Lobo is going to be a highlight.
Yeah.
I went away to read that solicitation and Doctor Strange showed up.
Oh, did he? He must have sling ringed.
Yeah, man. I just come back to this screen where the Dan is, and hey, look, it's Benedict Cumberbatch.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, it's going to be hard for me not to pick this one up.
Yeah, it looks good.
I can't tell who that one is, Dan.
It's supposed to be Daredevil.
It's just too dark. He's too dark against your dark shirt.
There you go.
There. Now I can tell that it was red once you picked him up.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. Superman 78, #1. This is a 6-part miniseries by Robert Venditti, who is a, what does he call himself? A method writer. So he can't write it if he hasn't lived it.
And he's lived 1978, I take it. I've met him once. He does seem to be old enough for that.
That's fair.
This is with him, Wilfredo Torres.
Yes.
And this, of course, is picking up from the Richard Donner Superman series, the same way the Batman 89 last week is picking up off of the Tim Burton films. It says, fly into director Richard Donner's Superman once more in Superman 78, written by Robert Venditti, Superman, Man of Tomorrow, and drawn by Wilfredo Torres, Batman 66. Superman 78 tells a brand new adventure in the world of the beloved film. A bright, shining day in Metropolis is interrupted by a mysterious drone that crash lands in the city and starts wreaking havoc. This looks like a job for Superman. This looks like a job for Superman. But where did the metallic menace come from, and what's his purpose, and who is Brainiac? So if you want to see what Christopher Reeve's Superman would have done with Brainiac, or how he would have dealt with Brainiac, this is the story for you.
There's so many bad jokes.
Which part?
Just jokes that are in poor taste as it relates to Christopher Reeves.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, no, not going to do it. I love Christopher Reeves as Superman, so I'm not going to do it. Like George Reeves better, but, what can you do? But no, I'm not going to make those jokes, even though every part of me says, make the jokes, make the jokes.
Yeah. Hello, Sean.
There is a big splash page in this that is in honor of, or, in salute to Richard Donner. So.
Yeah, who passed away just within the last 6 months, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, speaking of things from the past, Superman Life Story Annual #1 by Chip Zdarsky.
Yep, Chip Zdarsky and Mark Bagley.
That's Superman or Spider-Man? It's Spider-Man. If I said Superman, I apologize.
Yeah. Spider-Man Life Story Annual Number 1. And this, of course, is an encore return to the world of Spider-Man Life Story by the same original creative teams. Spider-Man, he's a threat, he's a menace, and J. Jonah Jameson will do whatever it takes to make the world see it. But in this companion piece to last year's hit miniseries, Superman Life Story, will
Spider-Man.
the decades of
I got you messed up too.
You did. Will the decades of obsession bear fruit for Jonah or be his destruction? Chip Zdarsky and Mark Bagley reunite for the story told in a world where Marvel's beloved characters age in real time. And by the way, if you get an opportunity to pick up a comic book with Mark Bagley drawing Spider-Man, pick up the book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, I think he's one of the best Spider-Man artists out there.
Mm-hmm.
Just
it's true.
I
mean,
down.
it's definitely true. I'm convinced that J. Jonah Jameson's first name is Jay. Like, just Jay.
You mean like B.J. Honeycutt?
No, like Homer J. Simpson.
Oh.
I give a B.J. Honeycutt entirely too much respect. Also, I love the fact that to this day, if you ask Mike Farrell what BJ's name is, he goes, it's BJ. What does it stand for?
His mother's name was B. His father's name was J.
That's
That's
that was
the
just
line.
one of the many excuses he gave.
That's the line from the episode.
Yep, just one of the many excuses he gave, and I love it all.
Yep.
All right. Coming up next is Saint Mercy from Top Cow.
Yeah, our friends over at the Top Cow.
Absolutely. This is written by John Zur Patton with art by Artio Rojo.
Platten, not Patton.
Platten.
Yeah.
Well, okay, Platten. I think he needs to remove the L from his last name to make me right, but I'm not going to argue with him. This is a new miniseries, A Tale of Vengeful Retribution. Saint Mercy pits the Incan Empire against the American West and features two strong, determined young women who must defy authority and ultimately embrace their destiny. Mercedes Oro is one of the surviving descendants of the Incans who have been charged with protecting a cache of cursed gold used in their child sacrifice rituals. But when an outlaw tries to steal the gold for his band of thieves, he unknowingly sets events into motion that will unleash an angry god who is willing to travel through the centuries to have what he desires. From the Raiders of Jurassic World Evolution, The Chronicles of Riddick, Dark Athena, and Wanted Weapons of Fate comes a revenge tale that spans millennia.
You ever notice that no one ever unleashes a happy god? A joyful god? It's always an angry god.
I have this vivid memory of my first Diamond Retailer Summit.
Okay.
And that was the year that what was it called? It was a Garth Ennis book.
You said vivid memory.
Right. I have the vivid memory of the pitch for the book. Okay. God is Dead came out. No, it's not even God is Dead. It's a different book.
That's Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah, that was Hickman. This is a different book. This is a Garth Ennis book. But it's basically the pitch of the book, and this is what they said to us in the meeting, was that in the God of the Old Testament and the God of the New Testament are different people.
Okay.
At the end of the Old Testament, they trapped that God in a golden pyramid and locked him away and replaced him with someone else. But archaeologists in modern day find the pyramid, open it up, God's out, and he's pissed. I just remember that pitch going, this book is going to be amazing. And it was. But that's been a decade ago, so I don't exactly remember all of I remember the pitch, clear as day. I don't remember everything else. But yeah, there's never such thing as a happy God. There's maybe in American Gods.
Yeah, Mr. Anzi was
then like they don't start off happy; they end up happy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I actually worked on God is Dead, so
yeah,
I did.
I collected every issue of that a very specific cover. They called it the Carnage Wrap, which were the most disturbed, messed up covers that they put out for that book.
Yeah. I did an 8-part backup story on the last 8 issues of the entire series.
I remember the story. I didn't know it was you.
Yeah, with an artist named Mike DePascal, who I thought he did amazing work on that.
Nice. But this is Saint Mercy, so check that out because God is angry.
He is.
Don't take his gold.
And Atio Rojo is a really good artist. Matt showed me some of his earlier work when they were first considering him for projects, and I was blown away. The guy is great. So,
well, let's take a quick break here on In Stores This Week, but let me first remind everyone out there about our cosplay contest that is happening as part of our Post-it anniversary. If you are a cosplayer, post a picture of yourself in your cosplay on social media, hashtag it the EXP cosplay. We Cheryl from So Much Cosplay, as well as Jenna and I and a couple of others are going to look at it and pick the ones we like and give them fabulous prizes. What prizes, you ask? I don't know. Mainly because my notes are not here. But we do have prizes.
We're going to randomly open boxes. What's in it becomes your prize.
No, we have some good stuff. I just
don't remember.
I have it all written down on a piece of paper at the office, and I just don't have it here. So we will have those very soon. Sean Butler, you should correct that. All right, we'll be right back in just a minute here on The Experience. And we're back.
Yeah. Hey, Sean. With Top Cow, it really depends on the type of stuff you want to read. They do a lot of great sci-fi right now. Matt Hawkins himself writes some great books like The Tithe and Postal. So if you want to read some, little different stuff, there's The Freeze, which is my own property. There's some really great stuff over there. Eclipse is another really good book out of Top Cow. So if you're looking
I can point you, if you want, Sean, I can point you at a bunch of stuff that is also Top Cow, but it's Image co-branded Top Cow stuff.
Yeah.
That Dan and I's friend Jim Valentino kind of oversaw, or still oversees, really, but
nope.
That I can put you
Valentino's on. Shadowline. Valentino's Shadowline.
Well, but I mean, we're talking before Shadowline existed.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking old stuff, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Out of print, hard to find.
Top Cow has always been its own thing. Jim never had anything to do with Top Cow.
I think when Jim was still at Image, though, is when this stuff was. because he put me onto it. So,
Okay.
Dan, why don't you take a minute and tell everybody about this week's Dan Wickline shows?
Okay. We just had a big show this afternoon where we broke down the trailer for the new Spider-Man movie, and we got pretty in-depth into it. So if you missed that, you want to take a look at YouTube and pick it up there. There was a lot of stuff going on with that trailer. Now, tomorrow's episode, I am going to probably do an in-depth look at some of the villains that we're going to get back in Spider-Man. So I haven't locked in tomorrow's show yet, but there's a good chance I'm going to read. Oh, Port Earth. Yeah, Port Earth is by the same guy who does Eclipse, so you'll probably like that. But tomorrow I'll talk about some of the villains we're going to get back. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, Jamie Foxx as Electro, and some of the others that we might get. And then on Thursday, of course, we will be talking do a spoiler conversation about the new Marvel What If episode. We've gotten 2 posters for it that show Nick Fury and Natasha Romanoff. And we've gotten a release of footage of Natasha beating the crap out of some look like Hydra Shield agents while Crossbones is talking about it. And then we get... we know Loki's going to pop up here. So it should be a real interesting episode, and we'll talk about it in depth on Thursday night. So join me for the Dan Wickline show there. And since Kyle has not popped back up yet, also let's remind you guys that we have a lot of great shows going on. We have The Experience here. We've got So Much Cosplay. We got Black Comic University. We've got Minute to Skim It, which took place just before this. We've got some great sales show. Tomorrow will be Rex and the Not Nicks are talking about collectibles. Nick Berushi comes around on Friday with his show. So if you're a collector, you want to tune in for those things. And also remember to follow us on Instagram and TikTok, because we do little videos and fun stuff, but also you get a good idea of our lineup there. And on both of them, we are _EXP1. So you want to follow us on TikTok and Instagram. And of course, we're on all social media, but also, if you're watching the show right now, can you hit the like and subscribe or the like buttons and stuff like that? That really helps us out. So whether you're on Twitch or on YouTube or Facebook, hitting that like button really helps us out. All right. Now, let's go on to Ninjak. Ninjak number 2 here. I got a chance to read it this afternoon or late last night. And where I love Ninjak. Ninjak is by far my favorite character over at Valiant. And I would kill to write this character. I'm going to tell you the solicitation for it, but a very short solicitation is Jeff Parker as Javier Pulido. Says, who is the trio of extremely powerful bounty hunters that are hunting Ninjak? Javier Pulido and Jeff Parker's next stop on their action-packed thrill ride bring Ninjak and the Songbird agent Myrna to Scotland in search of the last remnants of MI6. What is happening here is a guy has basically hacked MI6 and released all the information. So everybody is now known. All the agents are now completely exposed. They're being attacked by every mercenary group, every bad guy group, and Colin King, Ninjak, has actually left MI6 before this, and he was being followed by this girl Myrna, who's called the Songbird. And while she was tracking him, this all came down. So while she's trying to get back to safety, Colin realizes what's going on and starts helping her. And now he's going to go find his buddy Neville. So basically think about James Bond has left the agency and everything goes to hell and he has to come back in. Except in this case, James Bond wears a ninja costume with a sword. That's this book. Love the writing, love the story, love how they're showing how he thinks, how he figures things out, how he can plan and put together all the pieces to take on these different enemies. Not a fan of the art on this book. Nothing against Javier Polito's artwork. I think he's a good artist. I don't know if he's the right artist. It doesn't work for me on this book. And maybe it's because I've always seen like the cover, more Doug Braithwaite, just artwork that is more Marvel standard comic stuff, more action adventure. This is much more, it feels more like an indie comic, and it doesn't really click for me. I'm reading it and I'm enjoying the story, and so the art isn't horrible. It's Javier Polito is very talented. I just don't think he's a good match for this title. That's my only critique of it. But I'm still reading it because it is still a good story and it's still Ninjak. So,
yeah, I think Jeff Parker is the right writer for this story. I kind of can agree with you on the art. It's not my favorite art.
Okay. So, yeah, same here.
All right, let's talk about this book, Stud and the Bloodblade. This is from Comics Experience Publishing. You may know Comics Experience because they've published with other publishers like SourcePoint, other small publishers before. This is written by Perry Crow and Jed Doherty, who are relatively new on the scene. In that Comics Experience, for those of you who don't know, is like a school you can go to learn how to comics. So it's that kind of, this is what they're publishing. They're publishing the stuff that people make while going through their process. So what's better than a comic book? 2 comic books. All 3 Studley issues are double-sized for $1 more, twice the story, and nearly the same price. Wow, that was some interesting English.
Yes.
Welcome to Ouroboros, a world teetering between the far future and the primal past, where aliens and barbarians, Bigfoots and robots, monsters and puns wrestle for control. Mightiest is Stud. He of immense strength and non-existent impulse control. Follow Stud's caravan of carnage, and his cursed Bloodblade keeps him on the razor's edge between a hero and Gary. From co-creators Perry Crow and Jed Doherty, it's He-Man meets the Tick meets Judge Dredd. It's Stud.
Isn't that an axe?
Bloodblade. It's axey-ish. It's swordy. It's
not very swordy. Very axey.
If you look at the sword, maybe the sides, I don't know, retract or something. It is the far future.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't read it, but that last sentence is why I want to. He-Man meets the Tick meets Judge Dredd.
If they can pull that off, excellent.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's setting the bar high, though.
It very much is. Follow that up, though, with a book from SourcePoint Press that I'm very excited about called Suicide Jockeys. This is from SourcePoint Press. It's Raylan Grant and Iwan Joko Triono. I don't know how to say his name.
Triono sounds good.
Yeah. 10 years after a catastrophic mission gone wrong, Denver Wallace, leader of the Suicide Jockeys, a poor, usually drunken, almost certainly mentally ill crew of monster-fighting, tank and aircraft piloting suckers, must pick himself up off the proverbial and literal floors, slap his estranged, desperately fractured team back together, and right what once went wrong. From the screenwriter and Ringo Award-winning comic creator Raylan Grant.
I think Suicide Jockeys, I think maybe the jockeys ride the horses with the saddle on the belly.
Okay. By the way, Dan, did you notice what was on ESPN this weekend?
I did not. I was out of town this weekend.
Busy having a life. I understand. They had corgi racing on.
I'm sorry, did you say corgi?
I did.
As in little tiny dogs?
Little tiny dogs, yes. Yeah, little tiny dogs running on a racetrack, like a horse racetrack in the dirt.
Did they have jockeys?
No, but I wanted them to. But I wanted the jockeys to be G.I. Joe dolls. Like,
Capuchin monkeys. They should be
no,
Capuchin
like the
monkeys.
jockey is just your Skeletor action figure from the 80s. Like, I wanted it so bad, but what happens is one of the dog's handlers, owners, people holds the dog at one end, and the other end goes down to the other end and holds out a treat. And the dogs run for the treat. And ESPN covered this like it's the Kentucky Derby. Like, I thought, am I watching ESPN 8 the Ocho? And no, I was not.
Yeah.
But so Suicide Jockeys, right?
Yeah, Suicide Jockeys.
This is a book kind of, if you imagine, if the Suicide Squad was somehow more down and out. And down and out of their own doing, not down and out because, some government organization stuck them in jail. Like down and out because they were too drunk to do the job the first time. This is kind of it. And also just because Source Point is a Detroit-based company or a Michigan-based company, it does have a strong Detroit bent, which I like.
Like an old muscle car?
Mm-hmm. Which I like.
Yeah.
All right. Next up on the list is Rat Bastard. And I did it so I could say the word bastard, basically. This has, again, I have no solicitation. It's Crucial Comics. It's Cliff Galbraith, which is a name I know from the indie scene, but I don't know much about it. I just thought the cover was amazing.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I would pick it up.
I'm always down for animals doing people things.
Yeah.
So, can't really give you a whole big spiel on this one. If you like animals doing people things, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Radical Radioactive Hamsters, any of those kind of things.
Isn't it Radioactive Radical? No, it's Radioactive Black Belt Hamsters.
I thought it was Radical Radioactive Black Belt Hamsters.
Adolescent Radioactive Black Belt Hamsters.
There you go. I knew they were all there.
Yeah.
Anyhow. So this is for you if you're into that. We're just gonna keep skipping. We're gonna keep skipping ahead here to 9 Stones from Behemoth. Now, keep in mind that Behemoth is in a weird situation where sometimes their books don't come out when they're supposed to. Sometimes they come out to some stores one week and the other stores the next week. So just be cool if it's not on the shelves when you go on Wednesday. But this is by Samuel Spano, who wrote and drew and did all the variants and everything. This is him. Disturbing dreams shake Alistair Alley Jacoby's nights. But his daytime life is not much better. His father, the boss of a criminal organization, has decided that it's time for his son to gain experience in the underworld. So Alley, 19, finds himself doing an internship in a convenience store run by a man who, under the cover of home deliveries, is selling drugs to the entire city. To teach him the job is Christopher, an older guy. The bond created between the two of them will give life to dark presences and disturbing and enigmatic premonitions.
Now, is this a reprint?
Nope.
Because I wanted to look it up real quick, and I'm seeing it having been listed back in 2017 on Amazon, and it's out of print.
So what probably happened, if I had to guess, is it was self-published. Like a lot of the books from some of these indie publishers, you have books that have been kickstarted, crowdfunded, self-published, and these authors take these projects around to try and get new legs into them at a publisher, and that's kind of the thing that a Behemoth would look for. A book that already kind of exists and maybe has all the issues written, but the creator just couldn't get it all done. So this to me reads like that.
Okay.
If I'm being honest. But I think it's cool, and I like Behemoth Comics, and will support them going forward as much as is humanly possible.
Yep.
All right, we're back to Marvel. Marvel Voices Identity #1. I clicked the wrong thing. There it is.
This is a good timing for this because having recent, with Shang-Chi coming out, this is Marvel Voices Identity #1. And just listen to this group of creators. You got Greg Pak, Gene Leon Yang, Maureen Gu, J.M. Ken Nimura, Christina Strain, Marcus Tu, Whilce Portacio, Lin Yoshi, Alti Firmancia, Jason Liu, Chris Hunsung Lee, and they're celebrating the greatest Asian superheroes and creators from across the Marvel Universe. Some of the best Asian superheroes in comics are getting the spotlight in this special action-packed and heartfelt issue. Shang-Chi, Miss Marvel, Jubilee, Silk, Jimmy Woo come celebrate these amazing and legendary heroes from new and established Asian creators that will surely expand the world outside your window. Plus, be prepared for some big and special surprises that can only be told in the mighty Marvel manner. Now, as you're listening to it, Shang-Chi, movie coming out in the 3rd. Miss Marvel, new series coming out. Jubilee, a very popular X-Men. Silk, part of the Spider-Verse, and Sony's going to get around to her. Jimmy Woo, breakout character from WandaVision. Those are some big-name characters right there, all with the, done by Asian creators. So, great book to pick up. Harley Quinn, yeah. Now, I'm going to tell you in this one, Harley actually does her own solicitations, but I'm not going to do the voice this time because it almost made Kyle cry last time. But this is from Harley Quinn #6, Stephanie Phillips, Laura Braga, and I'll just read this in my normal voice. Your pal Harley Quinn back again. Now, there might be a lot of new faces in Gotham, but it's always nice to see an old friend. Okay. So Catwoman explicitly asked me not to call her my friend, but I know she secretly loves me under that tough, broody, leather-clad exterior. You're not going to want to miss this one as we tangle with those boring magistrate goons in Alleytown like a real dynamic duo. I smash a lot of stuff with my bat, and Selena does a bunch of flips and awesome things with her whip. She's so cool. That's your solicitation. And I absolutely would have done that in the Harley voice. If not, Kyle's already, I don't want to make Kyle cry.
They'd have to move me to the psych ward.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah. Stephanie Phillips is just killing it on this book. Harley is just immensely popular. I mean, it's insane how much this character just keeps going and going. So it's a fun series, and this looks like it's just going to be another great issue.
Absolutely. All right. A book I'm very excited for, Icon and Rocket #2.
Yes.
This book, the first one came out, and I really loved it.
Yep, got it right here. I got the variant cover. And, a lot of people compare Icon to Superman. I would liken him more to Martian Manhunter, which still works. But this is Reggie Hudlin is writing it. Andrew Curry, Doug Braithwaite doing some art. Who is the mysterious Xiomara? She's an attorney with a unique set of skills, and if you're Raquel Rocket Irving, she's who you want in your corner when the United States government comes knocking on your door, asking questions about your friendship with the all-powerful alien known as Icon. A secret identity doesn't get you far when every intelligence operation in the world is hunting you. Love the Milestone premise setup. Started rereading them last night. The Milestone Returns, Static, Hardware, and of course Icon. Just reread issue 1 last night. The premise of this is very straightforward. Raquel gets in with a bad group, They try to break into this rich house in the neighborhood where everybody else's houses are falling apart. And she ends up meeting this guy, Icon. He lets them go with the idea that if they ever commit another crime, he will hunt them down. And, and it's obvious he can do things that will scare them. But it doesn't scare her off. She comes back and gets in his face going, why aren't you helping people? Why aren't you down the street here getting rid of these drug dealers and making it safe for my mom to walk to the grocery store? Why aren't you out there making a difference? And his attitude's like, if I get the drug dealers off the corner, another group will come in. And she says, well, then we take out that group and the next group. And basically she says, well, his other argument is, I'm so powerful that people will just come to expect it and not actually try to make a difference in their own lives. And she says, well, that's why I'm here. I'm going to be your sidekick, your normal person with you, that people will see a normal person can make a difference. And that's the premise of this, is she basically convinces this alien who's been on our planet for a very long time to step out of the shadows and start making a difference in the neighborhood. And it's very unique story. I mean, it's just a lot of fun, but also it hits on a lot of really important topics.
Yeah, I mean, the first issue really did like get me hooked on this series, and Reggie Hudlin, man.
Yeah.
Reggie Hudlin. I'm just gonna keep saying Reggie Hudlin.
Mm-hmm.
Doug Braithwaite is great too, but like Reggie Hudlin. So,
yeah.
All right. Let's do Dark Blood number 2. Dark Blood is maybe the most under the radar hot book going right now. When Something is Killing the Children number 1 happened, it happened the way Dark Blood is happening now. When Rob Guillory's stuff came out from Boom Studios, it came out the way Dark Blood is coming out now. And it's really kind of under the radar, but really popping off here. What does even the kindness of strangers come with a cost? Avery has adjusted to his post-World War II life in Alabama, but when an altercation with some local boys leaves him hurt, an unlikely bystander steps in. And when Carlisle, a white university doctor, not only offers Avery immediate first aid, but free ongoing medical care, nothing is truly free, not even a stranger's kindness. Written by Latoya Morgan with art by Walt Barna.
Nice. Have not had a chance to check this out yet, but I will definitely look for it this week.
This is a really good book. I really enjoyed issue 1. I'm very excited for issue 2. Okay. So the next book on the list is my pick of the week. Should we skip it and move on and come back to it?
Nah,
or should we hit it now?
Let's hit it now.
All right. So just as a FYI, the writer of this book, I told him where I'm at right now, and we're friends, and he sent me a PDF to read. And I laughed so loud, they came and checked on me. This is Lester of the Lesser Gods from Albatross Funny Books, written by Eric Powell.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one who sent me a copy. But Matt Cushing, Lucky Yates, and Eric Powell. Art by Gideon Kendall, covers by Eric Powell. From Eric Powell, the Goon, Lucky Yates, comedian and voice of Dr. Krieger from Archer, and Matt Cushing, who wrote Spook House, and Eisner Award-winning artist Gideon Kendall of Mega Host, or Magag Host, sorry, comes Lester of the Lesser Gods. Lester has no friends and no life. That is, until Satan unleashes an apocalypse. No longer is he a 32-year-old, 300-pound LARPer who lives with his mother. A mother who constantly reminds him that his lonely conception in a biker bar bathroom. But Mama didn't get that gimpy hip from knocking boots with any old biker. 'Twas a god. And Satan shall suckle his knuckle. Huzzah. And for the hardcore collector, special edition cardstock cover by Gideon Kendall.
I love Eric Powell. I think his stuff is great. I am a huge fan of the Goon. Just love his stuff.
I have had a shirt in my closet since 2015 of Eric Powell's clown that he did with a noose around his neck and says, hang in there.
Yeah.
That is my goal shirt for when I lose enough weight. I love Eric too. This book is absolutely hysterical and is the dumbest thing I have ever read in my life. And I'm here for it. Like, just look at that cover.
Yes.
Like,
he's wearing chaps, isn't he?
Assless chaps. And
assless chaps,
a banana hammock. Yes. And that guy has to defeat the armies of Satan.
Yeah.
Because his mom hooked up with God in a biker bar bathroom.
You know, I'm a little surprised how clean shaven he is for the amount of hair he has. And it just seems like he'd have a little more chest
Look at
hair.
the underarms.
Yeah.
I'm just relatively sure Eric didn't want to do that much inking.
I just would have expected him to be a little more hirsute.
That's true. So, this is my pick of the week, guys. This book is just... I can't say enough. Like, just everything. It's so extra. It's so over the top. It's so Eric Powell. If you've ever seen Eric Powell present at a retailer seminar or have to talk to people who buy his books, he does the best presentations because he knows what his publication is. Like, he knows Marvel and DC are going to win the day. So he's got to come at you with something out of left field. And it's just perfect.
Yep.
I am a fan. So let's take another quick break here, and Dan and I will be back in just a minute. But in the meantime, head over to comicshoplocator.com and type in your the 5-digit thing that tells people where you are.
Zip code.
Yeah, that.
What's your zip code, Alex?
Yes, zip code. And it will tell you where great comic shops are near to you. Are you traveling? Put them in. Put that number in and see where there are fine comic shops near to you. Are you forcibly stuck someplace you don't want to be? Type in that zip code and find comic book stores near to you. And, go pick up some books this week. So we will be right back in just a minute.
Yep.
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit comicshoplocator.com to find a store near you.
All right, and we're back.
That was quick.
Yeah, it was. I noticed how many books we have left to get through.
Uh-huh.
I thought maybe short commercial.
We have a lot of books left.
We have a pretty fair amount of books left. And some of them we're
Okay.
going to want to talk about for a really long time. Because I've met us. We're going to want to go off on tangents and tell stories and then do complete digressions.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So next up is from Zenescope Entertainment.
Yeah, I feel like every week I should just get a hold of Zenecope going, okay, who the hell is drawing your book this week? Because we never know.
And I bet they would tell you.
Yeah. This is Grim Red Agent, Beast of Belgium #1 from Joe Bruscia and some incredibly talented artist. It's set in 1914, World War I in Belgium. A terrible creature stalks the battlefields, ripping the throats from soldiers and tearing the bodies to pieces with massive fangs and claws. Whispers of the Beast of Belgium run through the terrified ranks of soldiers on both sides of no man's land. Paris, in the present, the bodies of gang members are being found with their throats ripped out and their bodies mangled, and rumors spread that the beast has somehow returned. Brittany Waters, aka Red Agent, is tasked with finding out the truth behind the murders and the mysterious beast, a mission that just might cost her life. And of course, Red Agent is Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love the World War I riff on this and the Beast of Belgium. You know, I'm curious if there's actually like an urban legend that goes with it.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested in this as well. Sean says that Red Agent is his favorite Zenescope character. Mine is certainly Robin Hood.
Mine is Sinbad, but I'm biased.
Yeah, you got to pick one you didn't write.
I've written almost all of them.
Right, I understand. That's going to make it tough for you.
Yeah.
So, but we're going to move on to another book that almost feels Zenescope-y in its style, which is
Echolands.
Yes.
Yeah, this is from Image, of course. This is W. Hayden Blackman and J.H. Williams III. Haven't seen a lot out of him in a while. The story of Earth's last war starts with Hope's sticky fingers. The multiple award-winning Batwoman team of J.H. Williams and W. Hayden Blackman reunite for an all-new ongoing series. They're joined once again by Color Supreme Dave Stewart and Master Letterer Todd Klein. So this is pretty much like the 78 Yankees when you put together a team of creators. In a bizarre future world that has forgotten its history, a reckless thief, Hope Red Hood, holds the key to excavating its dark, strange past. If only she and her crew can escape a tyrannical wizard and his unstoppable daughter. But fate will send them all on a path leading to war between worlds. Echolands is a landscape format mythic fiction epic where anything is possible. A fast-paced genre mashup adventure that combines everything from horror movie vampire classic mobsters and cyborg elves to Roman demigods and retro rocket ships. It's going to be a hell of a ride. Each issue of the series will offer a raw cut edition featuring art from J.H. Williams as it looked leaving his work studio. So we need to turn that image to match up the book. Yeah, it's all landscape, and J.H. Williams' artwork is gorgeous. So, and it sounds like this is just going to be a lot of fun with everything in the kitchen sink thrown in.
Yeah, no, it's I'm trying to find images of it sideways. And I'm struggling to find images of it sideways. I'm not usually a fan of landscape-oriented books.
Yeah.
But these two could make me a believer.
Yep, I agree.
All right, moving on from this, we come over here to Deja Thoris versus John Carter of Mars.
Yeah.
Because we need a book with less clothes. I'm not diminishing the book because the first issue was incredible.
Yeah.
But
well, it's Dan Abnett.
Right. Neither of them wear any clothes.
Yeah. Well, it's hot on Mars.
No, it's colder on Mars than it is on Earth. It's further away from the sun.
Okay. Yeah.
We may have less atmospheric protection, but it's still not as cold, not as hot as Earth.
Right. Okay. Well, I don't know
You
that.
didn't expect me to come with science, did you?
I did not. I did not expect you to step up with science. But
broke Dan. I broke Dan.
We like seeing Deja Thoris this way.
It's true.
And remember not that long ago when Dynamite tried to upgrade all their female characters and give them all new costumes that were,
I seem to remember yelling that was a bad idea, but
yeah. And they went right back after because Mm-hmm. So anyway, Deja Thoris versus John Carter of Mars. This is Dan Abnett, of course, one of the writers on Guardians of the Galaxy that made that series real popular. Dan Abnett and Andy Lamming. This is Alessandro Miracolo as the artist, and it says the epic continues. Deja takes a calculated risk and trusts someone that could aid in defending against the dreaded Longborn. Little did she anticipate the arrival of the Black Pirates. That's what we got. Carlos Navarro says, "Hey, Kyle."
That Carlos, you'll get nothing and like it. That's typical for this kind of book in terms of solicitation, and you don't want more. You really don't.
Yeah.
The more you know, the less interesting the book becomes in that regard.
I mean, the Black Pirates sound cool.
Yeah, Black Pirates. Okay, I'm in.
The Black Pirates of Mars. I mean, anything in this book you can just add of Mars.
Of Mars, right?
Yeah.
The empty Coke bottle of Mars sounds more interesting than just the empty Coke bottle.
Yeah.
So
who did this cover? That's not Lucio Parrillo, is it?
That is where is it in my notes? This cover is Lucio Parrillo.
Okay.
There is also a Joseph Michael Linsner cover,
as
well as with most Dynamite books, many, many others,
including a cosplay cover.
Yes, there is a cosplay cover.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember the name of the cosplayer.
It's not Ashley, is it?
No. There's 3 cosplay covers this week, and I know one is Savannah Poison, one is Lorraine. I cannot remember, and I think the one it's a different person doing the Rachel Holan, I believe it is.
Yeah. All right. Let's come on to Darkhawk #1. And I'm going to take this opportunity to mention that Danny Fingeroth, creator of Darkhawk, will be joining us Saturday on our Post-it Note anniversary celebration.
Nice. I just finished I'm almost finished with his Stan Lee biography he just did.
That's what he's coming on to talk about.
Nice.
You want to interview him?
When?
It would be like 6:00 your time.
On Saturday?
Yeah.
I'll let you know. Let me check on something.
I will let you know exactly what time it is. I'm just guessing.
Okay. Darkhawk #1. Kyle Higgins, Juanan? Yeah, Ramirez. Who is the all-new Darkhawk? Connor Young is a 17-year-old star basketball player with the world ahead of him until a surprising medical diagnosis changes everything. But what happens when a mysterious amulet finds him and gives him power beyond belief? What will he do with these new abilities? Get in on the ground floor as Kyle Higgins and Juanan Ramirez start a new era. I remember when Darkhawk #1 the first time came out, and got excited about it. Mike Manley, I think, was doing the artwork, and Danny Fingeroth. And just got really excited because when you get into the ground floor of a new Marvel character, it is really exciting. And it kind of felt like it was in that same vein as Richard Rider when they created Nova, and of course Peter Parker. When Spider-Man, you get that teenage boy gets a superpower type thing. So it's interesting that they're relaunching this character as a new hero. So I'm kind of curious what happened to the last one, but I like the design too. There's some neat design changes on him as well.
There was a one-shot a few months back, and I had Danny on the network to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And they published some never-before-published Darkhawk work that he had done that was never part of that original series
mm-hmm.
that they had done way back then. And where that book left off kind of left you open for this. It didn't set it up directly, but it left it open.
Yeah.
To say, hey, this is a possibility. So
now that's saying 30 years that Darkhawk has been around?
It has been 30 years.
God, I feel old
1991. Now. Need a minute? Well, BN Recovers, let me remind you about our cosplay contest happening as part of our posted anniversary. If you're a cosplayer or just like to dress up in funny clothes, post a picture of yourself on social media using the hashtag #TheEXPCosplay. Myself, Jenna, Cheryl Sloboda-Whited from So Much Cosplay, and a couple of others will be looking at them and determining which ones are the best and giving out prizes.
Ooh, I could cosplay as Lester of the Lesser Gods.
You could. I don't. I will disqualify you unless you send it censored. But yes, so could I. We could both cosplay as Lester of Lesser Gods. But I'm telling you, Dan, I can't begin to describe how funny that book is. Like, I don't have the words to describe. You would take pages to describe how funny that book is. So, all right. Moving on, we have Dancing with the Dragon from Scout Comics. This is number 1 from Scout, Dancing with the Dragon, which sounds like something you would do if you wanted to have a bad night.
Sounds like a drug reference to me, but
also that. So this is Connor O'Sullivan is a hapless limo driver on the run from the Triads. It probably wasn't the best idea to take over his dead customer's shady business. However, a poor Irish immigrant trying to provide a better life for his girlfriend, it seemed too good to pass up. After some initial success, Connor thinks this is his ticket to living the American dream, but he's just been dancing with the dragon. Everything about this book says there's a real dragon in it. And I really am just hoping that it turns into a scene like that we didn't get in the original Mulan cartoon, where it's a dragon and he actually has to dance with it.
Like ballroom dancing or Saturday Night
disco?
Fever? Whatever.
Yeah, I'm thinking disco. I'm thinking he has to dance to Back in the New York Groove.
Oh, nice choice.
Yeah.
Nice. Little Ace Frehley there. So I see it's McKinnon and Casa Languida are the creative team on this. Cool.
Yeah, I didn't have the list in front of me, but it's from Scout, so it's good, like Sean said. This next book is a book I would not normally put on the list. There are several things about it that would make me not normally put it on the list. But this seemed too funny to pass up.
Okay.
This is Crisis on Infinite Quarantines from Aardvark Press. I couldn't pass it up. So this one is written by Sean Michael Robinson, David Birdsong, Matt Dow, Eddie Kana, Laura McFarland, Dave Sim, Benjamin Hobbs, and Gustave Ador. You thought we were kidding about the infinite quarantine when we ran these strips online last spring. We're betting Crisis on Infinite Quarantine will be as timely at the end of summer 2021 as it was in the spring 2020. As Earth continues to play planet-wide whack-a-mole with a microscopic basketball with knobby little things sticking out of it. If not, meh.
I don't know. Seems kind of in bad taste to me.
It does, but like the whole idea of they're just republishing the stuff they published online last year when you could joke about it.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like it seems too rich to pass up. I have fundamental issues with Dave Sim. I have fundamental issues with the Cerebus universe. There's a lot of stuff that why I normally wouldn't put this up. But it just seemed too funny, and too timely to ignore. If you're out there, get the jab so we can have conventions, please.
Yeah.
That's all. Just get the jab so we can have conventions. I don't care about people's health. I just want to be able to go back to Comic-Con. As you can tell by the fact Dan knows where I am and people on my Facebook know where I am. But I don't even care about my own health. I just want to go back to Comic-Con. So,
yeah.
That being said, the next book is a book I'm actually interested in. This is Cosmos, #1 from Advent Comics. This is Tony Cottrell and Dodi Ika.
Isn't that Adam Warlock?
It certainly looks like him, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's legally not Adam Warlock.
Okay.
A routine U.S. space mission to the moon sees an alien invasion force from another galaxy come to Earth. Also, the cosmic powers of this universe, known as the Universals, convene as a cosmic threat approaches. A mysterious hero, Genesis, appears on a planet without any memory of who he is and is met by the cosmic being Enigma, the Soul Taker. This begins a journey that will reveal a secret history of the universe, but also serve as a catalyst which will either save or destroy all creation. Here's why I'm interested in this book. Can I tell you?
Sure.
A lot of super independent books and a lot of even larger independent publishers stay away from superhero content because it's really hard to crack that Marvel DC wall.
Yeah.
It doesn't pay these companies to jump into the superhero game.
Look at JD's question.
We talked about that, JD. It's legally not Adam Warlock.
It's Adam Warlock.
But it's legally different than Adam Warlock. Even though his hair is the same color, which makes him, yes, Adam Warlock. But this is what I'm saying. Like, you don't see companies like this diving into superhero content. And that's what this is. So I like the idea of seeing somebody take a stab at something galactic. Something huge like this. This is pure Jim Starlin territory, and it's not Jim Starlin. So I'm interested to see where it goes,
Warlock.
Yeah, I understand. But his name is different, and Adam Warlock has a circle on his chest and not a square, so he's legally differentiated. Intellectual property law is very specific. Yes, it's by Sim Jarlin. Yes. No, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
yes.
You understand what I'm talking about, Dan. Like, you don't see this stuff from...
No, I agree. Everything you're saying is absolutely true, but it's hard to get past the fact that the character looks so much like Adam Warlock. They could have done any change in color and not had this problem.
And here's the thing. I'm interested to read it. I don't expect it to be good. I expect it to be good. Okay. Like, all right, that was a good read, but like not like this is earth-shattering. But I just love when not Marvel and not DC do superheroes. I just love it. Because it's somebody saying, I see that you've staked out your part of the world. I'm coming for it, you know?
Yep.
So, but next up is a superhero. Kinda.
Cable Reloaded, part of the Last Annihilations series. This is Al Ewing. Jonathan Hickman's involved because he's kind of the god of all the mutants right now. And, of course, Bob Quinn. Do we know if Bob Quinn is Bob Q? Because
Different guy.
Okay. The big gun is back. It's a new era in the new galaxy that's under siege from a deadly new threat. But you can still rely on one man. Cable's locked, loaded, and landing on the deadliest planet in X history to steal the ultimate weapon and stop the last annihilation. That sounds like a total 90s book too, but Cable. God, I haven't read a Cable book in forever. I'm curious just to pick it up to see what they're doing with the character. You know,
I am too. So, Dan, I have to step away for just a second, but I'm going to let you talk about a book that I'm sure you could talk about for a long time. And it's the biggest book of the week, and I was saving it for last, but I can't save it for last anymore. And that's, The King.
Yes. King Spawn. Okay, this is definitely the big book of the weekend. This is, well, first thing, just listen to the creators on this. You've got Sean Lewis, Todd McFarlane, Philip Tan, Steven Segovia, Mauricio Takara, Brett Booth, and Javier Fernandez. And it says a historical new ongoing Spawn series begins. The launch of this book, nearly 3 decades in the making, further expands the Spawn universe with a growing presence of hell, heaven, and heroes here on Earth. A classic villain from Spawn's past has begun asserting his power on Earth by corrupting as many souls as possible, and only Spawn knows that he even exists. Continuing the dramatic battle from Spawn Universe #1, this is where it begins. Don't miss out. The last time a new ongoing Spawn series launched was in 1992. Yeah, that is a ridiculously long amount of time. And this book is going to be huge. He says, I'll ask y'all about Todd. What is he like in real life? I have only seen Todd once, and that was at a convention. I have never actually had to talk to him. I've talked to most of the founders of Image, but Todd is one that I have not had a chance to talk to. This book is huge. I mean, I'm just really looking up the list here real quick. There's so many. Okay, for covers, that's the Puppeteer Lee cover. There's a Todd McFarlane cover. There's also a limited edition one that he signs. There is a David Finch cover, a Sean Gordon Murphy cover, a Greg Capullo cover, a Brett Booth cover, and a Donny Cates cover. Plus, there is a 1 in 50 raw incentive Greg Capullo cover. There's a 1 in 250. That's the Todd McFarlane signed one. So, plus that's a huge number of covers by some great artists. And this is going to be the book of the week. This is what's going to get everybody's attention. And you should at least pick up one book, one copy, because we all saw how much Spawn took off back in 1992. Yeah, the Donny Cates cover is really nice. The Capullo one looks a lot like Capullo's Spawn covers. The one that Dave Finch one is the one I'm looking for. The Brett Booth one is also really nice. There's some really great covers. It would be worth it for you to look online, check all these out.
And the signed copy was the 1 in 250, by the way.
Yes, the signed copy by McFarlane is the 1 in 250. You can get these through your local comic shop. Also, Dynamic Forces has a lot of these available both in just as is or CGC copies. I know that they've been pushing that this week, and they're some of their best sellers right now. So if you are looking for the book of the week, it's going to be King Spawn. So.
Yes.
Hey,
Sean
welcome
would like
back.
you to talk about Todd, and Mama always said, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that Todd is a tremendously influential and great creator. I love his Spider-Man and Hulk runs.
Todd, the convention I saw had at was when I was first breaking in, and Todd gave the single best piece of advice that I remember, which is it was a two-part piece of advice. Go to go after a company you want to work for, and go after their worst selling book, because that's the one they're going to most want to make a change on. So if you want to break in, don't go in and go, oh, I'm going to go after X-Men. No, go find their lowest selling book and pitch on that one. Find the editor for that one. Make friends with that editor. The second thing he said is never feel bad about a rejection letter. He kept every single rejection letter he ever got, and he kept them, and now he's got a great collection of autographs from some of the big names in the comic industry. Because you get these rejection letters, they're signed. You've got that autograph. You're muted still. Okay. So, King Spawn, check it out this week. This, like I said, is going to be the big book. Reason I ask is I've heard Todd is abrasive. Yes. Todd can be, but that's his personality. He doesn't mean any offense by it. There's a couple people I know. There's another big image guy, one of the founders, who is also known for being abrasive. And I got to meet him, and now I love the guy. He and I have worked together on multiple projects and stuff, and he is absolutely wonderful. But when you first meet him, he can be very abrasive. But when you've been in the industry as long as these guys have, sometimes that abrasive attitude is what you need to make it big. These guys are business people. That's the key. Todd's built up a huge toy company. He's built up a popular comic series. And, he's known for buying famous baseballs. The guy is very unique. JD says, when I met Todd, he denied basing the Freak character on Cliff Burton of Metallica. I think he was lying. Interesting. I hadn't heard that before, but I could see that. So, Sean says, I'm pretty sure we have a copy of this in our house. Totally makes sense. Yeah. Like I said, I'm looking forward to picking it up. I'm going to look for the David Finch cover or the Brett Booth cover, but all the covers look good. I don't remember looking at one going, oh, why'd they do that? Sometimes you get those. Some of them, they'll do a cartoony cover or a kitty cover. And if you're not that person, then you don't buy it. All of these looked like good Spawn covers. So maybe if Kyle can throw another cover up there, I can move on to the next one. Okay.
I'm back.
All right. This is the Avengers Annual. Avengers Annual #1, Jed MacKay and Travel Foreman. Haven't seen a lot out of Travel Foreman in a while, so it's nice to see him. And this is Infinite Destinies concludes, Infinite Fury concludes. So if you are following the Infinite storylines, you want this book. The last secret of the Infinity Stone and Infinity Stone bearers is revealed here. Meet the new character who beats Captain America and Iron Man within an inch of their lives. What saves them? The character's other desires. Also in this issue, the conclusion of Infinite Fury. So again, if you've been following the Infinite Destinies saga or the Infinite Fury saga, you got to pick up this book and finish it up. Get the last part. So
absolutely. All right. So let's wrap up here. I got two more books.
All right.
Two indie books, both from SourcePoint. One is Broken Gargoyles #3. Again, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on this one. I've been pushing this book since issue 1 of the first volume came out. This is issue 1 of the second volume. Just be aware that if you're going to New York Comic Con, all of the badges are SourcePoint Press books, and this is one of them.
Nice.
So check these out, guys. They're really, really, really good. Bob Sally is just a tremendous creator, co-written by Dr. Christy Blanche. Like they're just awesome. Staniak art just knocking it out of the park on that one. And then we'll move on to Boston Metaphysical Society, The Spirit of Rebellion. Boston Metaphysical Society, this is... they kind of handle their books similarly to that Zenescope style, where it's one-shots that take place in the universe, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily ongoings. So this is by Madeline Holly Rosing and Gwen Tavares. After saving Boston, Caitlin is thrown out by her mother for working with Samuel and Granville. Samuel takes her to the boarding house of an old friend in Philadelphia, where he discovers a ghost, the beginning of a rebellion, and perhaps her destiny. Like Boston, the poor and working class of Philadelphia are pushing back against the great houses, and Caitlin and Samuel are caught in the middle of it. And much to her surprise, Caitlin has discovered that the battle with the Shifter has left her with telekinetic powers. What no one realizes is that a Pinkerton by the name of Harry Conley has taken a special interest in Caitlin and the boarding house. Is he friend or foe? And what does this mean for Samuel and Caitlin? So this is a period piece set, think around the time of the late 1800s, World's Fair in Chicago, kind of Boston physical. They're great. So let me answer some of the questions in the comments. JD Smith, they've been around since 2013. They were ridiculously small for a really long time. The last 5 or 6 years, they've really kind of blown up in size. They've expanded tremendously. And their big thing is that Detroit hustles harder. They do as many, if not more, conventions than every other publisher. They most weekends are at minimum 3 conventions. They just sent their guy Chris Tadlock, who was their warehouse supervisor and shipping supervisor and stuff for years, on a 3-week road trip, just doing conventions.
Ouch.
By himself. I mean,
yeah.
They work hard. And that has generated a lot of hype and a lot of goodwill in the community. They publish really good books. They're always on time. They're always available. They do a really good job of that. And they also go a long way to help retailers. They have a lot of programs that retailers like Miss Jen or myself, when I was a retailer, or really any retailer could take advantage of, that makes it easier to get books. And that's about right, JD Smith. SourcePoint is the publisher up the street from me. I can be to their office in about 2 hours. Like, they're real close to me. So I've known about them since they were one table at a convention without a sign. Like, they had SourcePoint Press written on cardboard and hung up. They had one book. So I've been following their rise for a long time. But they've done a lot of the right kind of work at the right kind of time. Travis McIntyre, who's the publisher, and Josh Warner, who's the chief creative director, have done a really good job of cultivating the right kind of artists, the right kind of creators for their mentality. They don't do superheroes. They do horror. They do comedy. They do a lot of the stuff you see from an independent publisher, and they do it really, really well.
Nice.
And they'll hear a pitch from anybody. You have a book that's done, they'll hear from you.
Really?
They might not always be taking it, but they'll, if you reach out to them and say, hey, I'm this person, I've got this book that I've done, I'm just looking for a publisher, they'll talk to you and they'll tell you what they're looking for and what they're not. I really appreciate the amount of effort they go to, and something that I'll put out there in the world There's a convention that the experience will be at the end of October called Cherry Capital Comic-Con in Traverse City, Michigan. It was the last convention that Gary Reed appeared at. Gary Reed, founder of Caliber Comics and industry legend. Every year they give away the Gary Reed Independent Creator of the Year Award, which is someone in the industry who has helped independents, created good work as an independent creator, and forwarded on the mentality that Gary Reed, in terms of Gary, had working with other independent creators.
Right.
Every winner has been a Source Point person. Whether they won for product at Source Point or not is not the case, but every one of those winners has worked with Source Point at some point.
Interesting.
Or at one point been the publisher of Source Point. So,
Yeah.
Like I said, they really are carrying on, and everybody there is a Caliber disciple. So they really are carrying on that Caliber mentality.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I didn't know that connection, but that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Again, I was there when they launched. I'll be there if they ever close their doors. I'll be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In fact, if you're in the Midwest, they announced it today, September 25th, Oxeye Media Con. They're opening up their brand new facility. They bought an old school, and they moved the whole operation into this old school. They're putting on a convention, and they're giving away free booths to people.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Cool.
So,
all right. So that's all our books for the week?
That's all our books, unless I missed something from your list.
Nope, I double checked.
Nope.
We're good.
That's it.
So your book of the week is Lester of the Lesser Gods.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with King Spawn because I think that's going to be big.
I had to pick a book that wasn't King Spawn.
Oh, yeah, I understand.
I would have picked Lester of the Lesser Gods anyway, but everybody knows King Spawn is going to win the week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Icon and Rocket, definitely worth picking up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if you're out there looking for stuff, just because it'd be weird if he showed for it, check out The Freeze by Dan Wickline. It's I just reread it this afternoon while sitting in a room with very, very poor cell reception, but it was one of the things I had downloaded. So
Thanks.
Read it. It's great. And Dan will be back tomorrow. I will be back probably this weekend for our Post-it anniversary, which is our 6-month anniversary. Saturday all day and Sunday all day leading up to our regular programming those days. We will have great creators and guests on to talk about their work and their careers. And of course, our cosplay contest, which you can enter just by posting a picture of yourself in cosplay using the hashtag #TheEXPCosplay.
Please keep it PG or PG-13 at the most.
Sure.
Yeah.
No nudes.
Yeah.
So, all right. We will see everybody on the other side. For Dan, I've been Kyle.
Thank you, Sean, JD, and Carlos, and everybody else.
Yes. This has been in stores this week. It's not unusual to think that Doc Ock looks like Tom Jones. See you next time.
Exactly.